former mayor, New York City, America's mayor, Rudy Giuliani. If this is an outside group and they are getting money and they're coordinating with the campaign, my understanding of the law is that's illegal.
Sure. Well, the trigger is, are they collecting it under the hard money, in other words, the strict limits of campaign finance, or are they collecting the large amounts, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, $1 million, $2 million? If they're outside the limits, collection limits, then they can't coordinate with the campaign. Then they have to be independent. That's what Citizens United is all about.
Right.
So
what is your take here?
That coordination would mean they were acting in violation of the federal election laws.
All right. So they were very clear in the Project Veritas videos now that the money goes from the Clinton campaign to the DNC, to this group. As a matter of fact, I'll put it up on the screen because this is really important. Because this is where the money comes. Right. This is where legality comes into play. Let's roll that.
I am contracted to him, but I answer to the head of special events for the DNC and the head of the special events and political for the campaign.
The campaign pays DNC, DNC pays Democracy Partners pays the Fogle Group goes and executes.
Hillary campaign, DNC, Democracy Partners, where does the money go to? Those fomenting violence and on tape bragging about and taking credit for even Chicago and organizing massive voter fraud. Illegality?
Well, of course, on a number of respects. First of all, think of the word, what does an independent committee mean?
Yeah.
It means being independent of the strategy and the tactics and the desires of the campaign and making your own decisions about that. So independence gone, therefore illegal. Second, the kinds of activities that conspiring to conduct are illegal in and of themselves. Conspiring
for voter fraud.
Conspiring to bring about voter fraud is a crime. Conspiring to provoke violence and then actually provoking it is a crime. So we've got...
Well, people got hurt in Chicago and they brag, that was us, we did that.
Something known as conspiracy to commit a crime. What you have on tape there is a conspiracy to commit a crime.
That is a crime.
Which a crime in and of itself.
Right.
Then they went ahead and committed the crime.
Which is a crime in and of itself.
Right.
How many counts, just off the top of your head?
I don't know. I got 5, 6, 7 there. I mean,
really?
Yeah. I mean, the number of counts against Hillary Clinton.
By the way, your track record as a prosecutor was impeccable.
Yeah. I mean, that's easy stuff.
That would be an easy conviction for you.
Yeah, you're looking at that. Those are confessions on tape, essentially. Those are confessions to not only campaign finance, which is, those cases are backed up for years, but cases like fomenting violence, then the violence. Plotting for voter fraud. That alone is a conspiracy to violate the law.
Okay, let me go to what the Cheryl Mills email said. That Obama, they had to clean up this mess because Obama said, I learned about the Clinton email server scandal from press reports just like you. Meanwhile, he was emailing with Hillary on her private email. So he lied to us. That was exposed. The Clinton campaign knew early on they wanted to clean up his mess.
Right.
And then also he went further. Remember, he went and he said, I don't think this is any big deal. Could he have been trying to cover for his own actions?
We won't know until we know what's in those 33,000 emails, right? I mean, I don't believe she destroyed those emails and had them bleached, acid washed. Which,
by the way, I love the term bleach.
The signature.
You mean like with a cloth? You mean like with a cloth, Mr. Mayor?
No, with acid. I mean, it's dangerous and it's expensive.
Yeah.
And even most cyber criminals don't do it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The reality is those 33,000 must contain enormous bombshells. Some regarding maybe Obama, and some of them, I'm sure,
Foundation.
Some of them showing how when she went to Switzerland for UBS, and Clinton was collecting his $1.5 million speaking fee, and she interceded with the IRS, which is a separate crime, by the way, to intercede with the IRS in order to help UBS.
Yeah.
UBS ended up giving them $3, $4, $5 million in donations and
how many pay-to-play examples do you see? Do you see it with Morocco? Does this now put emphasis? Here's a woman.
Well, the worst one, I believe, is the uranium one. The uranium one is very complicated. It's very hard to describe it. I'll give you the simple part of it. Simple part of it is she agreed and had to sign off on 20% of our uranium being sold to Russia. What American Secretary of State at any time since the Second World War would agree to giving Russia uranium? None.
It's insane. I can't even believe it.
Except one whose husband got big speaking fees, whose foundation got multi-million dollars in donations from the people who made the money from that, who all made hundreds of millions from it.
And didn't Podesta also have stock options?
He made a fortune.
And he transferred it to his daughter.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure she's not going to give it back to him.
He made a fortune from it.
Yeah.
But that's selling out the United States. That's not just bribery. That's selling out the national interest of the United States.
Here's my next and last question.
They have taken two, really, I would consider sacred departments of government that have hardly ever been economically corrupted. The Justice Department, maybe during Teapot Dome, and the State Department, which has its own problems, but not economic corruption. And they've turned them into cesspools.
How do you see this election going 2 weeks from today?
I think the election will be a big surprise. I think the amount of support for Donald Trump out there is surprisingly strong. It remains stronger and stronger as the media tries to create the psychological tale.
Let's give him North Carolina, polls are tight. Let's give him Florida, polls are tight. Let's give him Ohio, polls are tight. And then every other red state, including Iowa and Indiana. Now, he still needs 4.
He could pick up one of those 4, 2 of those 4. I mean,
he needs New Hampshire, New Mexico.
New Hampshire's possible.
Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan.
Michigan's possible. Michigan, particularly with NAFTA, his opposition to NAFTA. People in Michigan know the NAFTA story better than people in New York know the NAFTA story.
All right, we got to